there's something about you. Something I can't explain. Maybe it's the way your presence calms the chaos inside me, or the way your eyes make me feel seen, even when I'm hiding from the world. And, honestly, that scares me, because I've spent so much of my life pretending I don't need anyone. Pretending my heart was untouchable. But then you came into my life so softly. And suddenly, every wall I built started falling apart without a fight. Future wife. You scare me, not because you're dangerous, but because you matter to me more than I ever planned for someone to matter. You make me afraid of losing you. Afraid of loving you too deeply. Afraid that one day, I'll wake up and realize you were the best thing that ever happened to me. And I still couldn't find the words to tell you enough, but maybe that's what real love feels like. Not comfort. Not perfection. Just two souls standing close enough to make each other vulnerable, and choosing to stay anyway. Future wife. There's something about you that scares me in the most beautiful way possible. I've been trying to understand it for a long time, trying to figure out why my heart reacts differently when it comes to you. Why your voice stays in my mind long after our conversations end. Why your silence sometimes speaks louder to me than the noise of the entire world. And maybe the truth is, you've touched a part of me I thought nobody would ever reach. You scare me because you make me care too much. Before you, I had learned how to survive without depending on anyone. I became comfortable with distance, comfortable pretending I didn't need love the way other people do. I convinced myself that keeping my heart protected was strength. That avoiding deep attachment was wisdom. I walked through life carrying old disappointments quietly, acting like they no longer affected me. And for a while, I actually believed it. Then you appeared, not loudly, not dramatically, just softly, naturally, like a calm sunrise after years of darkness. And somehow, without forcing anything, you started changing things inside me. You made me want to open up again. You made me want to trust again. You made me imagine a future I had stopped believing in. That's what scares me, because when someone becomes this important to your heart, every little thing suddenly matters. Your mood matters. Your smile matters. The way you say my name matters. Even the smallest change in your energy becomes something I notice instantly. And I hate admitting that, because I used to be so good at hiding my emotions. I used to act unaffected by everything. But you ruined that version of me completely. Now I catch myself thinking about you during random moments of the day. I wonder if you've eaten. I wonder if you're tired. I wonder if something is bothering you even when you say you're okay, and maybe for some people that sounds simple, but for me, it's terrifying. Because, caring this deeply means you now have the power to hurt me, without even trying. That's the risk of love nobody talks about enough. People always talk about butterflies, happiness, romance, and soulmates. But they rarely talk about the fear that comes with genuinely loving someone. The fear of becoming emotionally exposed. The fear of needing someone's presence more than your own solitude. The fear of giving someone access to the softest parts of your soul and praying they handle it gently. And with you, I feel all of that. Sometimes I look at you and wonder how one person can feel so much like peace and danger at the same time. Peace, because being around you calms storms inside my head that nobody else even notices. Danger, because if I ever lost you, I know it would break something inside me permanently. You don't even realize the effect you have on me. You don't realize how your smile can fix an entire terrible day. How your attention can make me forget every problem for a few moments. How your existence alone makes the future feel less cold. And honestly, that level of emotional impact is unfamiliar to me. I've spent so much time teaching myself not to rely on people emotionally. Not because I wanted to be distant, but because life teaches some of us that attachment often comes with pain. Sometimes the people you love leave. Sometimes they change. Sometimes promises disappear. So eventually you learn to stop expecting too much from anyone, but then someone like you enters your life. And suddenly your heart starts hoping again without permission. That's terrifying. Because hope is dangerous. When you've already experienced disappointment before, you make me afraid in ways I never expected. I'm afraid of becoming too attached to your presence. Afraid of needing your voice at the end of difficult days. Afraid of loving you so deeply that losing you would feel like losing a part of myself. And the scary part is, I still want to love you anyway, even with all the risks. Even with all the uncertainty, even knowing how vulnerable this makes me feel, because there's something rare about you. Something real. In a world where people pretend so much, where feelings are temporary, and loyalty disappears easily, you feel genuine, and genuine things are dangerous to guarded hearts. Because once you experience something real, nothing fake can satisfy you anymore. You've changed the way I look at love. Before you, I thought love was mostly about attraction, chemistry, excitement. But you taught me that real love is emotional safety. It's feeling understood without needing to explain every wound. It's feeling calm instead of confused. It's knowing someone sees your broken parts and doesn't immediately run away. You make me feel seen. And honestly, being truly seen is one of the scariest things a person can experience. Because most people only know the surface version of us. The controlled version. The version we carefully present to the world. But you somehow look deeper than that. You sense things I never say out loud. You sense sadness in my silence. You hear emotions hiding behind my jokes. And sometimes I wonder how you understand me so naturally. It feels almost unfair, like you walked into my soul quietly and memorized every hidden corner. And maybe that's why I can't stay emotionally distant from you, no matter how hard I try. Trust me, I've tried acting calm, tried pretending I'm unaffected, tried convincing myself that I should stay emotionally careful, but then you smile at me a certain way, or speak to me softly, or look at me with those eyes full of warmth. And suddenly every emotional wall inside me starts collapsing again. You make me weak in the most beautiful way, not weak as in powerless, weak as in honest. With you, I don't feel the need to act tough all the time. I don't feel pressured to hide every emotion. I don't feel ashamed for loving deeply, and that changes a person. You know what scares me the most? It's not just that's the idea of losing you, it's the idea of finally finding the kind of connection people spend their whole lives searching for. And realizing how empty life felt before it, because now, when I imagine the future, you're there, in the quiet mornings, in the stressful nights, in the little ordinary moments nobody posts online. I think about laughing with you in the kitchen while life feels messy. I think about late-night conversations when the world feels heavy. I think about holding your hand during difficult seasons and reminding each other we'll survive them together. And those thoughts scare me because they feel real. Not fantasy, not temporary excitement. Real emotional attachment, the kind that changes your entire heart permanently. You became important to me slowly, and maybe that's why it feels so deep now. It wasn't forced. It wasn't rushed. It was built through small moments, small conversations, small emotional connections that kept growing without either of us fully realizing it. And one day I woke up understanding something terrifying. Your happiness matters to me almost as much as my own. That realization changed everything. Because when someone reaches that level inside your heart, you stop thinking only about yourself. Their pain affects you. Their stress affects you. Their tears affect you. Suddenly love becomes responsibility too. Emotional responsibility. And I want you to know something honestly. I'm not scared because you're toxic. I'm not scared because you're dangerous. I'm scared because you're precious to me. There's a difference. You scare me because I know how deeply I would mourn your absence. Because I know certain songs would hurt differently without you. Certain places would feel emptier without you. Certain dreams would lose meaning without you. That kind of emotional attachment is rare for me. Very rare. Most people pass through life temporarily. Most connections fade naturally over time. But you feel permanent in my soul somehow, like my heart recognized you before my mind fully understood what was happening. And maybe that sounds dramatic. Maybe it sounds irrational. But love itself is irrational sometimes. You can't always explain why one person affects you differently than everyone else. You just feel it, deeply, uncontrollably. And that's exactly what happened to me with you. You became my peace without asking for permission. You became the person I instinctively want to talk to when something good happens. The person I miss during random quiet moments. The person whose presence feels comforting even during silence. Do you understand how terrifying that is for someone who spent years emotionally guarded? You walked into a heart that had locked its doors a long time ago. And somehow you made it feel safe enough to open again. Not through pressure, not through manipulation, just through kindness, patience, warmth, consistencies. And maybe that's what real love actually is, not forcing someone to love you, but making them feel safe enough to stop running from love. That's what you did to me. You made me stop running, and now here I am, standing emotionally exposed in front of the one person who could truly hurt me, while simultaneously being the one person who makes life feel worth the risk. Sometimes I wonder if you realize how powerful your presence is, how one text from you can calm my anxiety, how one moment of distance from you can affect my entire mood, how hearing your laughter feels like medicine for parts of me I never talk about. You became emotionally important to me, in ways I never planned for. And maybe that's why I'm scared, because deep down, I know love is never fully safe. When you truly love someone, there are no guarantees, no promises that life won't change, no certainty that tomorrow will look exactly like today. There's only trust, choice, faith, and despite all my fears, despite all my emotional scars, despite every reason I had to stay guarded, I still choose you. I choose the risk, I choose the vulnerability, I choose the terrifying beauty of loving someone with my whole heart, because some people enter your life and make you feel excitement, some people make you feel attraction, but very few people make your soul feel understood. You do, and honestly, that's what scares me most of all, because once your soul recognizes a connection like this, nothing shallow will ever feel enough again. Future wife, the day you entered my life, something inside me changed quietly, not all at once, not like the movies, not with dramatic music or perfect timing. It happened slowly, like sunlight finding its way into a room that had been dark for years. And, honestly, that scared me, because before you, I had gotten used to carrying life alone. I became comfortable pretending I didn't need anyone too deeply. I learned how to survive disappointment by expecting less from people. I learned how to stay emotionally careful, how to act strong even on the days I felt completely exhausted inside. I told myself that protecting my heart was maturity. Then you came into my life, and suddenly my heart forgot every lesson it spent years trying to learn. You walked in so naturally, so softly, without force, without pressure, and somehow, your presence started becoming the safest part of my day. That's what changed me. It wasn't just your beauty. It wasn't just your voice. It wasn't even the way you smiled. It was the feeling you gave me, the feeling that maybe love doesn't always have to hurt. Maybe connection doesn't always have to end in disappointment. Maybe some people arrive in your life to heal parts of you they never even broke. And future wife, that possibility terrified me, because once a person gives you hope again, they suddenly become powerful to your heart. Before you, I knew how to control my emotions. I knew how to stay distant when necessary. I knew how to walk away before becoming too attached. I mastered the art of pretending I was okay with loneliness, because loneliness felt safer than heartbreak. But then you started becoming important to me, in ways I couldn't stop. I started looking for your messages without realizing it. Started replaying your words in my mind. Started smiling at random memories of you during ordinary moments, and the scary part was, it felt natural. Loving you didn't feel forced. Missing you didn't feel dramatic. Caring about you didn't feel like a choice anymore. It just happened, slowly, deeply, quietly. The day you entered my life, my heart stopped feeling guarded all the time. You know what that means for someone like me? It means everything changed, because guarded hearts don't open easily. People who have been hurt before don't trust quickly. We question everything. We overthink affection. We become careful with attachment because we know how painful loss can feel. But with you, my defenses started disappearing without me noticing. You made me softer, not weak, just softer. You made me want to communicate instead of shutting down. You made me want to stay instead of emotionally running away. You made me believe that vulnerability might not be something shameful after all. And, honestly, that's one of the most frightening feelings in the world, because vulnerability means someone can finally touch the parts of you that nobody else reaches. You reached mine. You saw through the calm version of me. The composed version, the version of me that acts like everything is always under control, and somehow, you noticed the tiredness hiding underneath it all. You noticed the silent overthinking. The emotional exhaustion, the loneliness I never fully admitted out loud, and instead of judging me for it, you stayed gentle with me. Do you realize how rare that is? In this world, people are quick to leave when things become emotionally heavy. Most people only love the easy parts of someone. But you made me feel like I didn't have to hide every broken piece just to deserve affection. That changed something inside me permanently. Future wife. Before you, I thought strength meant never needing anyone. Now I realize real strength is to yourself to be loved without constantly preparing for abandonment. You taught me that, and it scared me because I had forgotten what emotional safety felt like. There's something dangerous about meeting someone who feels like peace when your entire life has been built around survival. You became my peace. Your voice calmed storms in my mind. Your energy softened the pressure inside my chest. Even your silence beside me felt comforting. And suddenly, I found myself emotionally attached to the one person who made life feel lighter. That terrified me, because once someone becomes your peace, losing them becomes your fear. I hate admitting that sometimes. I hate admitting how much your presence matters to me. How deeply your energy affects my mood, how quickly my mind notices when something feels different between us, but that's what love does. Real love removes your ability to stay emotionally untouched. And you touched my heart, in places nobody else ever could, not because you tried to impress me, not because you forced your way into my life, but because you were genuine. You loved me gently. You listened carefully. You cared sincerely, and sincerity is dangerous for someone who spent years expecting disappointment. There were nights before you where I genuinely believed love just wasn't meant for me in the way I wanted it to be. I thought maybe some people simply experience temporary connections their entire lives. I thought maybe deep emotional understanding only existed in stories. Then you arrived and made everything I believed feel incomplete. Because suddenly, love felt possible again. Not perfect, not fantasy, just real, the kind of love where two imperfect people choose each other honestly. And future wife, that scared my soul, because now there's more to lose. Now there's someone whose absence would genuinely hurt. Someone whose voice became part of my emotional peace. Someone whose happiness matters to me deeply. That kind of attachment changes a person. I started imagining futures again after meeting you, not impossible fantasies. Simple things, waking up beside you, cooking together late at night, holding your hand during difficult seasons, growing older while still choosing each other every day, and those thoughts used to scare me. Because I stopped allowing myself to dream emotionally like that. Dreams become dangerous when you care too deeply, but you brought those dreams back, without even trying. You made forever feel less impossible. And maybe you don't even realize it. Maybe you don't realize how healing your love feels to someone who spent years emotionally tired. Maybe you don't realize how rare your softness is, how rare your patience is, how rare your loyalty feels in a world where people leave so easily. You walked into my life and made my heart slowly forget how to stay cold. That's powerful. Before you, I knew how to survive. After you, I started wanting to truly live again. There's a difference. Surviving is protecting yourself from pain. Living is allowing yourself to feel deeply despite the risks. You taught me how to do that again, and honestly, it terrified me at first, because love requires trust. Trust requires vulnerability, and vulnerability means accepting that another person now holds emotional importance in your life. You became emotionally important to me faster than I expected. Now your sadness affects me. Your stress worries me. Your happiness genuinely makes my day brighter. That's not something I can fake, and maybe that's why you scare me so much sometimes, because you became capable of hurting me without ever intending to. Because your absence would leave silence in places that only your presence knows how to fill. Because loving you feels so natural that the idea of losing you feels unnatural now. But even with all those fears, I still choose you. Every time, because some fears are worth facing, some people are worth the emotional risk, and future wife, you are worth every vulnerable conversation, every late-night overthinking moment, every terrifying feeling that comes with caring too deeply, because what we have feels rare, not loud, not fake, not temporary. Real love changes people quietly. It changed me quietly. The day you entered my life, my heart stopped treating love like something dangerous to avoid. Instead, it started treating love like home, like safety, like healing, like warmth after years of emotional winter. And even now, sometimes I still catch myself feeling afraid of how deeply I love you. Afraid because you matter. Afraid because you became part of my emotional world so completely. Afraid because life before you feels emotionally distant now, but maybe that's the truth about real love. It doesn't just make you happy, it changes the way your soul experiences life itself, and ever since you entered mine, nothing inside me has felt the same again.